He's been dodging questions about her for at least 2 months. I mean, there was also this incident where somebody asks about her love scenes, and he abruptly ends the interview, and you could tell that he's angry.
And then, what do you know? There are these videos that come to light that seem to show him being flirty with this Maggie woman on stage, who, again, like we said, is only 25 years old, and changing the lyrics of songs. A song, The Fighter, that he wrote for Nicole Kidman, changing the lyrics that were about her to something that was about Mag.
Stop the presses. Hold on to your wigs, because Jaguar Wright just nuked the entire music industry. She's declaring that country king Keith Urban might have been strumming more than just chords with rising star Maggie Baugh. Yep, Jaguar alleges a secret baby is involved, and the receipts? Apparently, they're authentic enough to make all of Nashville sweat. How did a harmless backstage jam explode into a full-blown paternity nightmare? Why is everyone in Hollywood suddenly suffering from amnesia? And seriously, why is Maggie Baugh now frantically deleting old posts? Grab your popcorn, because this isn't a concert. It's a high-definition primetime cover-up. We're starting this drama from ground zero. The moment Jaguar Wright decided to go nuclear on country music's untouchable couple. The same Jaguar who previously scorched the R&B scene for selling secrets is now pointing that pristine, perfectly manicured finger straight at Keith Urban, the man whose blinding smile alone probably paid for his mansion. But according to Jaguar, that smile has been secretly hiding a whole damn nursery. The chaos began when Jaguar went live at 3:00 a.m., the universal witching hour for confessions. She appeared in sunglasses, sipping tea in a dim room, and delivered the shockwave heard across every timeline. Y'all wanna know who Maggie Baugh's baby daddy is? It ain't no random roadie. It's Keith Urban. The internet immediately went feral. Twitter became a courtroom, TikTok, an FBI headquarters, and YouTube gossip channels were already printing money. Forget proof. Fans started instantly dissecting old performances, cross-referencing tour dates, and zooming in on every awkward backstage hug. Within an hour, her Keith baby scandal was trending. Jaguar claimed to have voice notes, screenshots, and even medical documents linking Keith and Maggie. She hinted the affair started innocently enough during some Nashville songwriting retreat. You know, where late-night guitar sessions turn into unplanned compositions. The unreleased, scandalous track, allegedly titled Backroads and Lies. But this isn't just spicy gossip. Jaguar is framing it as a full-scale expose. She claimed Keith has been secretly bankrolling Maggie using what she dubbed industry hush funds. She even produced a phantom accountant who supposedly confirmed monthly wire transfers from a ghost label account. Naturally, absolutely none of this is verified. But in Jaguar's universe, proof is completely optional. But hold up, it gets exponentially juicier. Jaguar wasn't satisfied just attacking Keith Urban and Maggie Baugh. She dragged Nicole Kidman's name right into the fray, dramatically declaring, "Nicole knew. She's been a silent partner in this lie." According to Jaguar, Nicole allegedly confronted Keith after noticing a suspicious number of late-night calls to a contact saved as Studio Babe Babe. Now, remember, Nicole Kidman survived Tom Cruise, Scientology, and decades of Hollywood whispers. But even she couldn't handle Jaguar Wright with a working Wi-Fi connection. Within 24 hours, clickbait blogs were running with fictional headlines like, "Nicole Kidman secretly files for DNA test," and "Maggie Baugh's silence is louder than a country song. Zero confirmation, but 100% irresistible." Meanwhile, Maggie Baugh, the guitar-slinging sweetheart who built her brand on wholesome vibes, went completely radio silent. No posts, no stories, no live streams. Her team announced she was simply taking time for herself, which, to the digital world, means, "I'm hiding until the lawyers tell me what to say." But just as everyone started to chill, Maggie posted a cryptic Instagram story. A black screen with the caption, "Some songs aren't meant to be heard by everyone." Bam! The internet exploded again. That single line was instantly declared a confession, a warning, and a prophecy all at once. Comment sections became a cesspool of detective theories. "That's about Keith. She's shielding the child. Nicole has already called her lawyers." Every single angle, theory, and screenshot just dumped more gasoline onto the bonfire. Naturally, Jaguar immediately hosted another live session. She waved her phone, claiming, I got messages from Maggie Baugh herself, thanking me for revealing her truth. When asked for the messages, Jaguar simply smirked. Y'all ain't ready for that level of truth yet. Classic Jaguar, always just one shocking phrase away from shutting down the entire internet. By this point, Keith Urban's public relations machine went into what insiders cynically called a damage control lockdown. Tabloids were reporting that lawyers were feverishly prepping statements, non-disclosure agreements were being terrifyingly reinforced, and specific studio files were being very quietly deleted. The same day, a supposedly anonymous source, allegedly one of Keith's own tour crew members, dished to a blog, everyone backstage absolutely knew something was happening. The chemistry between Keith and Maggie Baugh was impossible to miss. It started with music. It ended with total mayhem. Of course, we have no proof that source even exists, but the quote fit the narrative too perfectly to ignore. That's the brilliance of this viral storytelling. If the rumor is scandalous enough, it becomes its own truth online. The scandal officially started to snowball. Internet detectives began excavating Maggie Baugh's old interviews for clues. In one infamous clip, she nervously giggled when asked about a celebrity crush, before quickly pivoting. Another showed her performing an unreleased song where she sang, "You promised me the moon but left me with your echo." Fans immediately crowned that lyric a veiled confession. While all this unfolded, Jaguar Wright was thriving, posting reaction videos, retweeting memes, and shamelessly calling out the industry puppets for their silence. She declared that the music business was desperately protecting their golden boy, and that powerful people were panicking behind their locked doors. The very next live stream became internet history. Jaguar Wright, sitting in what looked like her living room, hair wrapped up and tea steaming beside her, hit the Go Live button again. Within seconds, tens of thousands were watching. The comments flooded in faster than she could read them. "Drop the proof. We're ready. Show us the receipts, Jaguar." She leaned back, delivered that iconic knowing smirk and whispered, "They thought I was bluffing. They thought I was just talking. But tonight, I'm dropping the truth." Boom. Screenshots, muffled voice messages, and pixelated photos started flashing across the screen. She claimed the evidence came from a verified insider, fed up with the lies. According to Jaguar, Maggie Baugh was allegedly pressured into silence by powerful label executives who wanted to protect Keith's image and his marriage. Jaguar dramatically detailed how money changed hands, contracts were hastily rewritten, and panic-signed NDA letters were enforced. Naturally, every single claim contained the perfect cocktail of drama and zero proof that would ever hold up in a court of law. But that minimal proof provided just enough mystique to convince the audience that a massive cover-up was underway. Viewers were frantically sharing screen recordings before Jaguar Wright even logged off. Twitter was instantly flooded with shaky, blurry screenshots, all captioned, "This is what they don't want you to see." One alleged message, supposedly from someone saved as CU, read, "We'll talk after the show. Stay calm. Remember, you're not alone in this." Was it real? Who cared? The audience didn't wait for verification. The dramatic narrative had fully taken on a life of its own. Influencers, gossip bloggers, and obsessive fan pages began analyzing those grainy screenshots like they were CIA documents. Threads broke down grammar styles, specific emoji usage, and even font timestamps. One TikTok investigator claimed to have matched the wallpaper in the background to Keith Urban's old Nashville residence. Another swore you could see Maggie Baugh's faint reflection in a mirror behind the text. Then came the audio leaks. Jaguar played a few muffled recordings she claimed were hushed, backstage conversations between Maggie and Keith. The voices were low and virtually unrecognizable, but Jaguar's dramatic narration ensured everyone heard what she wanted. That's him right there saying, "We can't let this get out. You hear that? Clear as day." The audience nodded, convinced the absolute truth had just been revealed. As the story spun out of control, Keith Urban's PR team released a brief, totally emotionless statement. "These claims are completely false and defamatory. Mr. Urban will not be engaging with baseless rumors." Predictably, that only made the crisis worse. The internet despises silence. It feasts on it, Fans instantly interpreted the statement as a guilty plea of damage control. Memes surfaced overnight, showing Keith holding a tiny baby guitar with the damning caption, "It's yours, cowboy." Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman conveniently flew to Italy for a filming project. But naturally, online detectives immediately insisted she was actually fleeing the scandal. A spectacularly fake People magazine cover circulated, screaming the headline, "Nicole demands truth, the secret that broke her marriage." The magazine was forced to publicly deny the phony cover, but the screenshot was already viral. When a rumor hits that fast, the damage is done. Maggie Ball, who had maintained her radio silence, finally cracked, breaking her quiet with a single dramatic post. It was a photo of her clutching her guitar with the pointed caption, "The music speaks louder than the noise." Within minutes, the post had hundreds of thousands of likes and a comment section split down the middle, half praising her strength, the other half accusing her of playing coy to exploit the controversy. Blogs immediately announced that Jaguar Wright was being contacted by major networks for interviews. She teased her next stream, saying a documentary offer was already on the table. "They thought I was crazy," she cackled, "but now they want to cut me a check for telling the truth." The self-proclaimed whistleblower had successfully converted chaos into cold, hard cash. But the bigger Jaguar's platform got, the harder skeptics started digging. Critics quickly spotted blatant inconsistencies in her evidence. Some timestamps didn't align with Maggie's tour schedule, and the insider email looked suspiciously like a Gmail draft. One journalist perfectly tweeted, "Either Jaguar just blew the lid off the biggest scandal of the decade, or she's auditioning for Netflix." The audience, however, simply did not care. Truth had officially become entertainment, and Jaguar was the biggest star. She knew precisely how to keep the viewers hooked. "I still got more," she whispered dramatically into the camera. "And y'all ain't ready for the hospital receipts." That phrase alone, hospital receipts, sent social media into critical overdrive. Was Maggie's baby already born? Did Keith Urban secretly pay the bills? Was Nicole the one who discovered the truth? Theories piled up faster than tabloid magazines at a checkout aisle. If that wasn't enough, a fake financial document showing transactions between AUF and MB began circulating on Reddit. It fooled thousands instantly, reposted everywhere with the caption, "The receipts Jaguar promised are here." Nobody bothered to notice the dollar amounts were formatted in euros. Keith's legal team frantically demanded takedowns, but the damage was irreversible. The Streisand effect had fully kicked in, making people believe the cover-up even more strongly. Every single deleted post was instantly viewed as proof of industry censorship. By the week's end, Jaguar Wright was trending again with the defiant hashtag Jaguar Unfiltered. She was milking every single second, going live twice a day, shamelessly calling out gatekeepers and industry hypocrites. "They can't silence me," she roared. "The people already know the truth." And that, my friends, is when the real chaos began. Jaguar wasn't backing down. Maggie Ball wasn't confessing. Keith Urban wasn't talking. And the fans? They were just getting started. The night Jaguar Wright promised to drop the final truth, the entire internet held its breath like it was awaiting a national emergency broadcast. Notifications went global, Twitter spaces opened, reaction channels went live, and gossip blogs had flashing Jaguar exclusive banners up before she even hit record. The bombshell title? The Baby Files. As if that wasn't dramatic enough, she began the live stream in utter silence, staring at the camera, sipping tea, while a dramatic gospel track swelled in the background. Then, with a slow, knowing smirk, she whispered, "They told me to stop, but y'all know I don't stop." Jaguar then claimed she had proof of a full-blown DNA cover-up, stating a private clinic in Tennessee had doctored birth records for a high-profile client. She never named Keith or Maggie Ball, but every single viewer knew exactly who she meant. "A baby was born, y'all," she declared. "And that baby has blue eyes, blonde curls, and a last name that ain't supposed to exist. The live comments absolutely exploded. Show the receipts, DNA, or it didn't happen. This is bigger than Hollywood. Then came the so-called exclusive document. Jaguar dramatically held up a blurry piece of paper with half the text blocked out, claiming it was a confidential paternity file. The font looked suspiciously like a basic Word template, but nobody cared. The crucial word positive was highlighted, and that was all the audience needed. She slammed the paper down and screamed, "They thought they could bury the truth, but the internet always digs it up." Within minutes, Sir Keith Urban Baby and Maggie Baugh Exposed were trending #1 worldwide. Reaction videos started popping up hourly. One self-proclaimed industry insider claimed Maggie Baugh had been seen at a Nashville pediatric clinic under a fake name. Another wild Twitter thread alleged that Nicole Kidman had quietly unfollowed both Keith Urban and Maggie Baugh months ago, which was completely false. But who cares about facts anymore? They stopped mattering days ago. Meanwhile, Keith's management went into absolute, full-blown panic. Press releases were frantically sent to every major outlet, branding Jaguar Wright's claims as fabricated and dangerous. Lawyers frantically drafted defamation notices, but the damage was already done. Every attempted takedown simply led to 3 more re-uploads. Even verified journalists started framing their headlines as questions instead of denials. Could Jaguar Wright's claims hold any truth? The sacred line between rumor and reporting had officially vanished. Maggie Baugh tried desperately to reclaim her own narrative with a second post. This time, it was a visibly emotional video of her sitting in her car, saying, "I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I've never lied to anyone. I'm just trying to make music." She didn't name Jaguar or Keith, but her voice cracked with vulnerability halfway through. That moment only dumped more fuel onto the fire. Fans immediately split into 2 screaming armies, one calling her a victim, the other claiming she was soft-launching the truth. And Jaguar, she was absolutely loving every second. "Y'all see how they shook?" she asked on her next stream. "I told you this industry protects its predators." She then started casually name-dropping random executives, producers, and even record label CEOs, connecting them all to the supposed cover-up. "It ain't just about one baby," she claimed. "It's about a whole system built on secrets." By the next morning, multiple gossip outlets reported that major networks had reached out to Jaguar for a potential documentary deal. She hinted at the offer herself. "They offered me cameras, baby. They want to document the downfall." But the final unexpected twist was the sudden leak of an alleged email exchange between Keith's lawyers and a high-powered PR firm. It read exactly like a crisis strategy document, complete with damning phrases like "contain narrative" and "schedule exclusive with sympathetic outlet." The leaked document had 0 actual verification, yet it was more than enough to convince viewers that Keith Urban's team was absolutely panicking behind closed doors. "He's running scared," Jaguar Wright announced gleefully, "because he knows I've got more receipts." Then came the deafening 2-day silence. Jaguar didn't post, didn't stream, didn't tease. The internet went into overdrive trying to guess why. Some swore she had been sued into submission. Others claimed she'd been secretly paid off. One TikTok theory even suggested she was visited by industry fixers who forced her to sign an NDA. The less she spoke, the more convinced the audience became that something catastrophic had occurred. On day 3, Jaguar finally returned. Her voice was noticeably quieter, almost somber. "They told me to stop talking," she stated softly. "And maybe I will. For now." Then, she looked straight into the camera and delivered the killer blow. "But just remember this." The screen lingered on her face before she whispered, "Every lie gets tired of hiding." She ended the live stream, and that single line went instantly viral faster than anything she had ever said. Fans immediately converted it into audio edits, TikTok transitions, and motivational memes. "Every lie gets tired of hiding" became the new internet anthem. For Jaguar, the scandal was no longer a claim. It was a full-blown brand. Meanwhile, Keith Urban briefly resurfaced for a concert in Las Vegas, smiling stiffly through the social media storm. He offered zero statements and didn't even flinch when fans aggressively shouted, "Who's the baby?" during a break in his set. The clip of him forcing that smile while strumming his guitar racked up millions of views. Silence had become his only defense, but to the audience, it screamed guilt. Sources claimed the story had now reached major Nashville executives who were frantic. One insider told a blog, "This could cost the label millions in sponsorship deals." At the very same time, Maggie Baugh's streaming numbers had tripled. Every time the scandal was mentioned, her name shot up the algorithms. Controversy was officially the hottest currency, and everyone was cashing in. By the end of the month, the truth had completely evaporated. What truly mattered was the narrative, and Jaguar Wright had decisively seized control of it. Whether or not there was an actual secret baby didn't change the fact that she had successfully hijacked global headlines, dominated every social feed, and forced even the most skeptical viewer to ask, "What if?" Because that is the pure magic of viral gossip. It requires no proof. It simply needs a stage, a villain, a victim, and a storyteller willing to completely blur the line between reality and rumor. Jaguar Wright was all of that and more. She didn't just expose the system, she became the system. And somewhere in a soundproof studio in Nashville, Keith Urban was strumming a quiet, controlled melody, pretending not to hear that the song playing louder than any of his hits was the one written entirely by Jaguar. And that, right there, is the unique chaos only Jaguar Wright could deliver. This is a woman who doesn't just tell a story, she detonates it. Whether you believe every single word she said or think this was the ultimate performance of a lifetime, one thing is certain. The internet absolutely adores a scandal that refuses to die. From the fake paternity tests to the mysterious NDA letters, this whole saga turned into a full-blown masterclass in how truth gets buried and then dramatically resurrected by clicks, shares, and trending hashtags. So what happens next? Will Jaguar finally unleash the final, crucial proof she keeps teasing? Or has she already pushed her luck too far? Will Keith Urban finally break his deafening silence? Or will this mystery baby rumor haunt his career forever? The only thing we know for certain is that in the thrilling world of viral exposés, the drama never truly sleeps. It just rebrands itself every week. If you're still watching, you clearly live for this kind of wild storytelling. So don't you dare just scroll away, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with your craziest theory, and keep your notifications fully activated, because this is Lumi Legacy, where reality fades and the truth always finds its way back online, baby.